What is the right time? Walk when it's great to crawl. Play when it's great to write. What is the right time? To be a born talent. To be a future champion. To walk alone. Playing under 16 at 12. Facing 20,000 balls with a half-grown spine. What is the right time? Too little to be selected, too talented to be rejected. The papers, selectors all asking, what is the right time? The right time, it's when you do it. They say you're too young to play, but you're always old enough to dream.
Don't worry about what the future will look like. Just prepare for it. Fearless plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance help you and your family prepare for the future.
So Craig, welcome. I mean, you're just home in Dublin, much needed rest, but has it sunk in that you were part of history and all of India still celebrating? It was a wonderful camp.
Yes, very proud of what we achieved. It hasn't really sunk into the extent of just returning back from India and seeing the celebrations and what it means to people. It's inspiring in a sense. We came close in the semi-final. We really pushed hard to try and play that final and try and go for gold, but I'm glad we came away with bronze, and we still achieved getting on the podium.
The only team to do back-to-back medals, I mean, that's quite an achievement for India between Tokyo and this one. No other country, even Germany came fourth. So no other country. In that sense, it's quite an achievement and talks about consistency as far as India is concerned. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's a really big milestone, because you could see with Belgium going out, Australia going out, GB going out, big teams going out that were all in contention, and also pushed for contention in Tokyo as well. So for India to get on the podium back to back is really, really good.
Now, if I can push you a little bit on that Great Britain match. I mean, 10 people, 43 minutes, Amit Rohidas out. How tough was that for you as coach to pull that through?
I think in the context of the tournament being it's the game that you prepare for. You know, and the last thing that you think is you're going to get a red card. You always talk about an injury to a keeper or something like that, or a 10-minute yellow, but to actually get a red card and for it to actually happen, that was interesting. And obviously, as you said, with 43 minutes to go on the clock, that was a totally different place. There's not many teams. I don't think there's any team that's done that and come away with a victory in a quarterfinal in the Olympics.
When it happened, can you just tell me a little bit more? I mean, obviously so much to go. What was the talk at halftime? Obviously, then we got it to the shoot-off. Just trying to sort of push you a little bit more to understand your mind.
Yeah, I think when it happened, it was early in the second quarter. When it actually happened, I was talking to Rets on the mic, and I said, I think they're going upstairs for a red card. And if this happens, obviously, we're down to 10 for the rest of the game, and that's 40 odd minutes. I hadn't done the exact calculation, but I knew that was a very, very long time. And I think the bottom line was just to try and get a result. You know, it was to try and take it all the way through to a shootout. And the best thing happened then is we went and scored, and they had to come out and play, you know, so that changed the dynamic for a while. Unfortunately, we couldn't hold on to the lead. And then we played most of the second half as 1-1, and we tried to get a corner. We tried to get some possession in their half, and it's really difficult. It's really difficult with the tactics and the teams at this level and at a quarterfinal. You know, you can play with possession for maybe a minute, 30, 40 seconds, and a minute. And our challenge was to try and keep the ball for long periods of time, but they always have the extra man, so you end up falling back into your own half and defending deep to try and win the ball back again. And yeah, we did it. And I knew as soon as we got to full time at 1-1, I knew we were going to win the shootout.
How is that? And why is that? Because of Srijesh? Because of the fact that you all got through? I mean, this is fantastic to hear.
Yeah, no, because of what we had in store, and also the fact that we had got through the most difficult part of any match that we'd ever been through. And now the script was written, and I said, guys, there's only one team going to win this. Do what you've trained for. We're ready. And Shri, you make 2 saves, and we score 3, and we ride in this, and we should win it on that. So it was pretty much exactly how it happened.
Fabulous. And everyone, all of your players tell me that you prepared them for every kind of eventuality. I don't think you prepared them for a red card in 45 minutes.
Yeah, we prepared for not having a goalkeeper. We prepared for, things to go wrong. Like you could be 2-0 down in the first 2 minutes like we were against Australia in the Pro League. And we were 4-2 up at half time. How does that happen? And then lose the game 6-4. So like when you go through a game in prior to an Olympics, you have to be ready for absolutely anything. And our sport is like that. It can happen so fast. It can change. Momentum can swing one way and go another way in the next 5 minutes. So I think the fact that we had done a really, really good job of the team build, of the what if scenarios, what if this happened, what if that happened, how would we manage this? And we'd been talking about defense for 14 months. And then, to be honest, this was the biggest test for us to actually get through and get a result, and then put ourselves in a position to play a semi-final because of what we'd been through and what we prepared for.
When you traveled with the team to Australia, did not get the result that maybe India wanted, and then the Pro League, a lot of us and the whole country was talking about, are we ready? Did you actually trade the Australia results and the Pro League results to get ready, or was it all part of the building up process to where you wanted to be?
I think coming back from Australia, we obviously went to Australia to try and win the series, and lots of things happened there that weren't on a level playing field from my liking, from no video referrals, from international umpires. Lots of things just didn't really line up to my expectation. And the fact that we were there in a very difficult place, man, it was actually one of the best things that happened to us, because we battled, we used a squad, we found depth, we found who could play at that level, and we also found the right combinations, and also had a look at the group that when the chips were down, who was going to stand up, for each other. And that was quite an important block. I said to them, these games won't matter when we reach our goals in Paris. I mean, the results won't matter when we reach our goal in Paris, and that was to podium. We wanted to win gold, but we definitely wanted to be in the medals. And looking back, that was a massive part of us beating Australia, was losing 5 times to win once in 52 years and do it at their strongest team, as their fittest team and everything, and in the last pool game, which meant a lot to all the teams.
My next question, that beating Australia gave us the belief. The whole country all of a sudden started talking about the Indian team as a medal contender. That sort of changed everything for Indian hockey. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, for sure. But we deserved that game. We played well. It almost should have been 4-1. There was a goal that was disallowed at 3-1 to go to 4-1, and then it turned around, and 10 minutes later it was 3-2. So, we deserved that performance. We played well. We really played well. We had a lot of control, and we took a bit more maturity, from that game, and it was the best preparation, having Belgium and Australia as your preparation for a quarterfinal.
Last couple of questions. One, umpiring. I mean, all through the tournament, all of us sort of, from the red card to the penalty stroke, quite a few decisions. I mean, while I don't want you to criticize or be critical, but is there a need to relook at umpiring in hockey?
I think it's just a responsibility for all the teams, and specifically the coaches, to have an open conversation and dialogue with the umpires manager and the umpires themselves, because, man, you can make mistakes. Don't get me wrong. And they normally get it right. The big decisions, they normally get right. It's when there's a big decision that is a 50-50 that you don't understand how it got to that decision. Then it's something to open up and question and ask, like, how did you see it? How would you blow it again if this happened? And to get to that level of kind of communication was key. And we did a good job through the Olympics of that. Rhett did a fantastic job of doing after every game, all the clips that we had issues with or didn't understand, would go straight back, and then we'd get answers, and then we'd have dialogue with it. And all the way through the pool games, we had dialogue, and then going into the quarter, the semi, and then obviously the playoff. Like, we had an understanding of what was coming and how people would blow this situation. So then we'd explain that to the players, and then we'd have a better understanding. Because through the Pro League, it was very different, because we had a totally different mandate from one tournament to the next, because we also had totally different umpiring, and it was like we were at sea half the time. And I would say some of our results were based on that inconsistency, which I knew wouldn't be the case at the Olympics. You get, a certain consistency with certain umpires. They get graded, they want to play and umpire the bigger games, so you have to deliver. And then I knew we'd be in those games, and then we'd get the benefit of that.
Finally, what's the way forward? Because Bholanath Singh told me you were there just before the medal ceremony that Craig Fulton will coach us till LA. He said Srijesh will coach the junior team. He said he will convince you to be around with us for the next 4 years, and Harmanpreet's to captain. So thoughts on that? What's the way forward for Indian hockey? It's been grueling, but we still have sort of achievements to get, whether it's the Champions Trophy, the World Cup, maybe another medal finish, a better color. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a lot of information in one sentence. I'm just digesting the last 6 weeks, and I'm still not there. No, I think we have an interesting tournament now. We play the Asian Champions Trophy on the 8th of September, and that's come at quite a tricky time. But you're going to use some other players from a squad that's already training now in Bangalore. So Dave Smolenaars is training that group. He's the ladies' assistant coach, the Dutch coach. He's stepped in to help coach that group. And then we're going to have a camp starting on the 26th, and then trials roughly around the 30th, 31st, and then we select that team to represent India at the Asian Champions Trophy, which we are the defending champions. But it's a balancing act between giving the guys enough break, because they're on the road, they're doing the road show around India and around their states, and celebrating what they've achieved, which is deservedly. And we also then need to get some movement out of them and start to build them back up to get ready to play a tournament, which is quite a challenge, as you can imagine. But World Cup would be the next focus point. I think also looking to try and bring in an Indian A team. So post under 21s, and then the group of players that sits in that's not ready to come into the senior squad but is still talented but can't play in the under 21 squad. Where do they go? What do they do? And we need to look after that age group, so that if anyone stops, like senior players, the next group's already training, but they're not straight out of the under 21s and don't have any senior experience. So we need to bridge that gap between those age groups. So that will be the main focus. And then LA, for sure. I think LA is a full Olympic cycle away, so there's lots of time to kind of digest and see which is the best way. I think, to be honest, to do a good job on this one is to really find out how we went in the tournament, get all the stats back, work it all out, and then go from there.
So you'll be around?
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be around. I've got to have a few conversations with Hockey India, obviously. We have a new cycle. Rhett's left now, so there'll be a new assistant coach joining. And then how we plot this way forward with the Indian A team, and then the under 21s, and tying that all in with Sri and what exactly is his responsibility and how does it all going to work.
I'll let you go. I mean, that's what I wanted to know from you, because that you will be around, because it gives us quite a boost to have you around and again get the boys to galvanize around you. So some great thoughts there, Craig. I mean, hopefully you have a good amount of family time, unwind, take some rest, and then we get you back to India. Thank you very much for your time, and appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
And many congratulations.
No problem, Nora. Okay, take care. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye.